Up here, introducing themselves, what position they're running for, and what they stand for as they run for that position. And then as they come off the stage, we will break it down by individual positions, and we'll ask questions, and there'll be a lively debate. All right, so could all the candidates come up to the stage, please? Don't bring it up.
Hi everybody, I'm Erin Stringer. I am a junior majoring in international relations and global affairs, and I am running for Vice President of Academic Affairs. Again, yeah, someone else go.
Hello everybody, I'm Alec Matheson. I'm a freshman. I live in Beta. My majors are political science and math. I want to be the Vice President of Financial Affairs 2013-2014. I believe I'm the best candidate for this position, and I'll tell you why tonight. Thank you.
Hi guys, my name's Henry Ashworth. I'm a freshman who lives in Alpha, and I'm running for ECOS Vice President. I'm the only one running versus abstain, so hopefully it doesn't beat me. Anyways, I look forward to serving you as best I can. Thank you.
Hey everybody, my name is Matthew Wilson, and I am a sophomore here at college. Sorry. Okay, now can you hear me? Okay, good. Hi, I'm Matt Wilson, and I'm a sophomore here at Eckerd College. My major is environmental studies with a concentration on environmental law, and I'm running to be president of ECOS.
Hi, my name is James Farrison. I'm a freshman. I live in Gamma, Freeman. Partially in Beta, you know. And I'm running for Vice President of Academic Affairs.
Hey guys, my name's Henry Palmer, and I'm a political science and communications major. I'm running for Vice President of Academic Affairs, and I look forward to the debate. Financial affairs.
Alright, hey guys, my name is Brady O'Donnell. I'm a sophomore here at Eckerd College, majoring in marine geology, environmental studies, and minoring in political science. And I'm running for the next ECOS president.
Alright, so now if we can have the candidates running for academic affairs stay on stage, and we'll start the debate.
Speak loud and proud.
Here. Okay. Do the twisty thing.
I'm so much shorter than everyone else.
Speak loudly like men.
Thanks.
It's like coming at me.
All right, so let's get started. Candidates, why don't you explain what you think the position can bring to Eckerd, or what you can bring to the position of Eckerd? I insist.
Well, I think this position can really bring to Eckerd the alliance between professors and students as a whole. Because you know we have events like Pictures with Professors, which goes under this position. But I really think people need to get to know their professors more and really be on the same page with them on what they're doing, their outside life, which a lot of people are, but there aren't that many events that people can go to enhance this possibility. And there aren't that many programs where people can really sit down and talk to their professors and really get to know what they're like, what they do in their free time. So I really think that this, along with CPS events, is bringing in what people want to hear and bringing in what people want to learn is what this position's about.
Well, I totally agree with everything you just said. But I think that the academic affairs position isn't just about strengthening the relationship between faculty and students. I think it's about creating Eckerd as a community between clubs and student government and faculty and staff and students. I think that there's a lot of potential for more interaction between academic affairs and the academic clubs that we have on campus. I think that there's a lot more possibilities. Wow, that's really loud. I think that there's a lot more possibilities to sponsor CPS events with clubs so that what Eckerd students really want to hear about can be spoken at Eckerd. And I think that it's not necessarily just about the academics. I think it's about bridging all of the academic fields, whether you're majoring in music, whether you're majoring in the sciences, whether you're majoring in politics. I think that this position really sort of bridges that gap. And I think that it would be really, really good next year to bring speakers who sort of encompass Eckerd as a whole, whether it's service and economics, whether it's music and marine science. I think that making sure that Eckerd as a whole is represented and not just promoting students and faculty, but Eckerd as a whole as a community.
Okay. So both of you have mentioned pictures with professors, and with that being said, as the incumbent Aaron and then as the new candidate running James, would you change anything about the way pictures is currently set up?
Yeah, I'll go first. I think that because Pictures with Professors has such a long-standing tradition at Eckerd, it's really difficult to change. It sort of has a history where you provide pictures with professors and students come, but it tends to be only upperclassmen students who are of age and already have a relationship with their faculty members. I think that leaving Pictures with Professors as it is probably a good idea, but adding more events that cater to underclassmen and a more relaxed environment where professors or students who don't necessarily want to drink can have a comfortable atmosphere in which to get to know each other.
Once again, as Aaron said before, Pictures with Professors, it's a great thing. I personally, I've been only to a couple, which is still useful. I am underage, but with the root beer floats and everything, it's a great experience for even those that can't drink. But leaving Pictures with Professors as it is very important. It is a long-standing tradition, as Aaron said, but I think there can be more to do with Pictures with Professors. Why only leave it to Pictures with Professors? Why not bring in food? Why not bring in like actual food besides pizza? Maybe have this less amount of times than Pictures with Professors, but having a well-catered meal. Why not having more food that's different from the caf, different from the pub, that can get the professors in and still have students get involved with it, so that you're not only drinking root beer, drinking beer with your professors. You're sitting down having a conversation with them over a meal of like chicken parmesan and pasta. You're sitting down. You're really you're engaging with them and you're understanding what they like. Best conversations are around the dinner table. So hopefully have something like that.
Awesome. Okay, so instead of hearing my voice, does anyone from the audience have a question for our two candidates? No one has a question? All right.
Brendan, you got a question?
Does someone have a question?
Go for it.
You think of a question or do you have a question? You're thinking of one right now? Okay.
Yeah. For those of you who couldn't hear, the question was, as the incumbent, what have I done this year to improve the position, and what do I plan to improve it next year? This year, year, I have with my Academic Affairs Committee, we have raised the number of students that can apply for the Academic Conference Grant at one time for one conference. We have ensured that there is gluten-free beverage and food options at every Pictures with Professors and every event that I have put on. And while we haven't necessarily risen the quality of food at Pictures with Professors, we have risen the quantity so that more students who are underage can come and eat pizza and root beer and hang out with their professors rather than live off of stale pretzels, and that's about it. For next year, going back to this year, I think that I've raised the caliber of type of speakers that my position usually goes with. There hasn't been really strong speakers that have really spoken to the student populace in the last few years. And I think that with Paul Loeb and with the Hastings and with history of hip-hop in West Jackson, I've really tried to raise the caliber and making sure that I'm using my resources properly by co-sponsoring speakers rather than just hosting speakers myself. And for next year, one of the things that I really want to try to do is figure out a way to have speakers that all campus can get excited about, that clubs will get involved with. And I think that one of the best ways to do that is to do what was done in 2009 to 2010, the year before I came here. When I visited, there was a themed year within ECOS. They had all of their speakers, and most of their events were around this central theme of, I'm sure that there's a senior or two here who can Plight and Promise of Africa, and it was phenomenal when I came and visited. It was half the reason that I came here because it was so engaging, and I think, and there were a lot of clubs that got involved with that. The Multicultural Dance Society got involved with that, and at least that's what I saw when I came and visited. I think that speakers and events like that are around a central theme that all of Eckerd can get excited about are something that's really going to raise the caliber of this position.
Awesome. All right, so let's go ahead and have these two candidates give their closing remarks on what they would do as Vice President.
I have a question.
Oh, you have a question?
Yeah.
Oh, sweet question, yes.
So you've spoken a lot about how we have speakers coming from outside that come and provide the awesome lectures that students are really excited to go to. But as the Academic Affairs Committee, how can you, as academic affairs, whatever, bring in more excitement from lectures between students and professors and have more of a relationship that way so that discourse can open up for students in other fields and realize, maybe have a better sense of how they can choose between majors depending on the views and ideas expressed from the professors having frequent lectures, monthly, weekly, etc. on campus. How can you do that? Because it's not as existent.
I don't know if you know this, but there is a series that is being put on with the chapel called Passions with Professors, or something like that. And it is a really casual environment where professors come and just sit and talk about something that they're really excited about with a small group of students that come to this. I've gone to a couple, and it tends to be about 20 students. They all make dinner together, and then they talk about something. The one that I went to, a science professor that I'd never come in contact with before talked about how passionate he was and his history with African drum circles, and it was absolutely amazing.
So is there a way that you can increase the hype about these sort of events in order, because if it's only about 20 students each time, and if half of the people in here haven't heard about it, is there a way that you as a candidate could improve that relationship and that event's publicity?
I have been working with Sydney and the rest of that committee this year, trying to figure out a way to keep it small so that it's not a huge lecture like we would go to in Foxhall for a CPS event, but managing to keep it small, but managing to get a more variety of students. And I think that you showing interest in it is a huge, huge deal. One of the things that we're going to try to do is we're going to try to have more people planning it so that we can do more than one a month, so that it's not the same students coming every time, so that there's more faculty represented in this in a really casual, nurturing environment. And I think that that would be really, really beneficial. And I love that there are students like you that are really passionate about it. I think another thing that would be really great to do would be to have like open table talks between professors from different collegiums and different students who are really passionate about an issue and make it a CPS event or not, and just really, really have this great discourse about a variety of subjects.
Can I expand on that? Yeah. I mean, personally, I heard Aaron bring up collegium in the last part of it. I think if we have almost as like a required thing for a course, or have it required for the entire collegium, whatever. If you have it required, have people come in so that the CPS event or the event speaking is about that idea, then that'll bring more people in. It'll have more people. I mean, it's bad to say this word because nothing should be like required, and that should be like the reason why you go. But almost have it required, have it so that people end up going to these things. Also have it by class. So like if you're taking an accounting class, bring in a CPS speaker of accounting. If that answers your question. If not, we can talk afterwards. We're running out of time.
All right, so we have time for one more question, which will be from Eliza.
Most I'm looking forward to bringing to my position is a fresh mind. I am a freshman, which can be looked at as a negative standpoint, but I look at it as a positive standpoint because my mind is still new to this entire system. But with that, I'm able to expand and really take in every single option, not having a closed mind or a closed set off from saying like I don't want to do this because they haven't done this in the past. I don't want to do this because I don't think it's good. One thing that I want to get out there is a suggestion box, so that people can come in with their own ideas, with their own topics that they want to speak about, and have them speak and bring it in a suggestion to me so that I can try and make it happen, and try and make every single idea that students come up with make it happen, because that's really what ECOS is about, and that's really what this entire foundation is about. If that answers your question, yeah.
Alrighty, thank you, James and Aaron, and give it up for them. All right, next we will be having our Vice President of Financial Affairs, candidates running for that position.
Okay, cool. Awesome job. I love your job.
Financial Affairs. All right.
Yeah, go ahead. Go get some.
You can adjust the mic.
Okay, cool.
Alright, so candidates, if you could introduce yourself, your platform, and then we'll start with questions after that.
Hello everybody, like I said earlier, my name is Alec Matheson and I'm running for Vice President of Financial Affairs. I want to be the Vice President of Financial Affairs simply because I believe that I am the best candidate. I believe I'm the best candidate because I've been preparing for this position all year through leadership and taking initiative. There are several areas which I have improved upon on ECOS that I will discuss later tonight that reinforce the idea of why I would have the most formidable, longest-lasting effect on Executive Council. Thank you.
Hey guys, my name is Henry Palmer. I'm a junior majoring in political science and communications. I'm feeling best suited for this job because, like Alec, I was on the finance committee this past year, as well as ECOS community senator with Josh Innerelli. And I feel like I have a good grasp on ECOS. I've been a club head as well as on the financial committee. I know what it takes to run a club. I also know what it takes to allocate to clubs. So I feel like both sides of that spectrum has given me a good grasp on the position, and I feel like I could do a good job.
Awesome. Okay. All right. So, okay. As Vice President of Financial Affairs, what do you think the most important goal would be to have?
The most important thing to me, I think, is going to be transparency. I don't know if you guys woke up to some of the flyers this morning saying that ECOS spends money unfairly. I feel that we work really hard to be a transparent system. I feel like we could also do that a little bit better. If elected, I'm going to advocate that we have a current member at allocations when we decide what new clubs get what budget or how much they get for their budget. I think that would increase transparency and let students know, really, so they have no question about what amount why their budget is what it is.
Yes, I agree. I think transparency is a very fundamental component that needs to be in the Financial Affairs Committee. But what I think is more important than transparency is putting the money of the students in the hands of the right students. Therefore, if I'm elected as Vice President of Financial Affairs, I will require every club that shows up to allocation to have an activities history and explain to us what they've been doing with their money and how their activities have been bettering the ECOS community. Thank you.
Does anyone from the audience have any questions right now? Okay. All right. Our president.
How do you guys feel about the implementation of a green fee?
Of a what, sorry?
Green fee.
Green fee.
You go to environmentally sound projects like more recycling or a project for ocean re-rest.
Okay. I personally would support a green fee. I think it's a great idea. I think it would attract more students to ECOS. I think the faculty would be on board, the students would be on board, so why not?
Of course, I think a green fee is a great idea. Eliza's Re-Rev project that's going to put power back into the fitness center because the ellipticals is a great example of how we can be environmentally conscious and conserve some energy. I think a green fee is a great idea.
Alright, so students are able to apply for funds to kind of support their ventures in academic affairs and research and those things. So what is an OEB, or what does that stand for? You guys know? Oh, there's an ICB and there's an OEB. Why don't you explain ICB?
Wait, sorry?
An ICB? What is an ICB?
ICV stands for Independent Collaborative Voucher. It's basically when I think that is Venture, sorry. It's when a student decides to take an activity individually, and they go on, for example, a conference or anything that'll better themselves, and in turn it'll better ECOS. So they're reimbursed for that through the Financial Affairs Committee.
ICVs are also used for things that clubs aren't expecting. So if, for example, the rugby tournament or a rugby team has a tournament that they didn't factor into their original budget, they can come to us and request more money for that. I think with ICVs, what I would work to pay attention to is how many students is it going to benefit. It might be a couple of students, but I think that we want to put most of our money towards projects that are going to benefit the most amount of students.
Let's see. So it might not be known, but students can apply for an ICB, and they can also go to academic affairs as to compensate for that. So with that being now known, do you think that there could be collaboration between the two committees to ensure that money is fairly distributed?
Yeah, I think that's a good idea. I think it wouldn't be a bad idea to have at least one member of academic affairs sitting in an ICV meetings with the financial committee and vice versa, so that we're both on the same playing field. We know who's getting what and why. And I think that conjoining with academic affairs would make it easier to get all types of groups money.
Yes, I think that's a great idea, Henry. But at the same time, I think collaboration with academic affairs would be ideal, but they are two individual committees. Academic affairs is more closely associated with faculty and professors, faculties and students, while financial affairs is mostly for the students, clubs, ICVs, individual ventures. And so I think collaboration would be nice, but sticking apart, they would also benefit each other as well.
All right, and we have a question.
Well, about that, because I think the question is like, you can apply for an ICD and you can apply for an academic conference, and there are different committees, but you can apply for both in the same conference. So like, as far as more communication between the two committees, so that we know that on academic affairs, we know that this person that we're getting this academic program from is also the academic committee on the meeting. Facilitate that.
I think that's a good idea. I know the exec council members, when they have their meetings, the head of the academic affairs discuss what's been going on with them, and same with the head of the financial affairs. But I think joint meeting possibly, or better communication would be best.
Let's see, do you guys have any other remarks about what you would do with the committee, or how would you help committee members to take a more active role in what you do?
I think Alec would agree with me in that this year our committee has done a great job of getting along, being active. We're all at meetings. We're all getting along together. I think that the goal for the head of the committee should just be to lead that conversation, to foster better discussion, and to be a balance when they notice that things might be going to one side or the other.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think the committee is as important, if not more important, than the head of the committee, because it's the committee that really makes him. Brady did an excellent job. He was the epitome of a great leader this year, because he led us, and it led us into points and questions that we had where we made the final decision.
Awesome. All right, so one more question and then we'll wrap up. Yep.
Okay, Alec, you mentioned that you thought the money should go into the hands of the right students. What is the right student, and is that a fair way to determine the allocations of the fund that ECOS gets?
Yeah, that's a very good question. I think that the right student, the goal of the recipient of the money that the financial affairs is allocating, is going to a student that works to better themselves and at the same time is bettering the Eckerd community. So frequently when clubs came to get allocated, some of them brought activity histories, but not many of them. And I think the activity history requirements would really, really help with getting the money into the right students, people that are bettering Eckerd, bettering themselves, and at the same time bettering Eckerd. And like Henry and I were saying earlier, the committee is hopefully going to be an eclectic group that's focused, and hopefully they will be a good judge of who's doing that.
Awesome. All right, so let's give it up for our two candidates for financial affairs. And next on the stage, we have those running for vice president.
Good job.
Alec, John.
Or the one. All right, so Henry, why don't you introduce yourself and your platform?
Hey guys, my name is Henry Ashworth. Like I said earlier, I'm a freshman and I live in Alpha. I'm the current Alpha Senator. And from being an Alpha Senator and serving on Senate, and for being a club head, I've really kind of seen what the Eckerd ECOS Vice President does. And what I really want to serve as is kind of a sound booth between the students and the bureaucracy and all other parts of ECOS. Because I feel like students they're underrepresented in a way because there's not like a loud voice for them. And extra, I really want to be that loud voice that says and speaks for all the students. And I really want to focus on student initiatives, such as if a student comes to me and he says, hey, I want a hammock for outside my dorm because my friends and I are always hanging out there, and I really want to have some fun. So I'll be like, all right, cool. I'll work with them, get the money, talk to facilities, make sure you get the approved hammock, and then get it set up. And already as a senator, I got fish cutting boards set up in front of the waterfront and the pier. So if you ever got fish in your buzz, you can clean your fish there, throw them back in, and not have to take all that stinky fish back to your dorm.
So being basically the second in command of ECOS, how will you make yourself accessible to students in order to hear what they like going on, or like what they would like to see going on around campus?
Besides having clubs, who I think are a really important voice on campus for all the wonderful things they do, I think that students should also come in. Besides the office, it might be a little intimidating to come to Eckerd College ECOS office and talk to one of the representatives. So I'm going to put up an online site where students can just type in like a suggestion. It could be anything. It could be you're a horrible vice president, or it could be, hey, I really want to improve the way my dorm is. I want to get towels for the sinks inside my dorm so I don't have to keep using paper towels and being wasteful. So besides an online sound booth, also have right outside the ECOS office a little drop box where students can put notes or inquiries or questions.
And if you do that, how will you ensure that you're held accountable to those requests?
I think that all those requests that are actual meaningful requests, I'll put online, and I'll have a list of all the requests and where I am at the point in going through them. Have I talked to facilities? Have I sought the funding for them? And if they're worth pursuing, and what dorms they're benefiting. Because I don't feel like one dorm should be benefiting more than others just because certain students are extremely active.
All right. Does anyone have any questions right now? Brenna, do you have a question?
I feel like the motivation that it needs to, I feel like if you're going to apply to be a senator, you already have some motivation to come to be a part of ECOS. And I feel like that almost from being my Senate my first year, almost everyone in the Senate is pretty self-motivated. I think the vice president should channel that motivation and keep it driving. For example, when finals come around or when tests come around, those students, get dragged down. I think it's the vice president's job to pick them up, keep them going, and also kind of act as like the manager between the senators and all the members of the bureaucracy. Be like, okay, go talk to facilities, or I'll go talk to Fred Sabota, make sure it's okay with him, and then really, keep them activated and motivated by kind of driving my own things I want to do. For example, I've been really thinking about redoing the pool, because I feel like the pool at Eckerd College could be a wonderful place for students to go and relax, read, studies, suntan, whatever they would want to do. So I feel like kind of ideas I have to change the campus, I can also bring senators on to help motivate those ideas. And also the ideas that students have mentioned through the Dropbox.
All right. So besides renovating the pool, are there any other big ideas that you bring to the vice president position?
It's interesting you asked that question. Last night, all the senators and other members of ECOS, every semester we go to a dinner with Aspect. And if you know what Aspect is, they're the Associates of Senior Professionals at Eckerd College. And they're a really wonderful group of people who have a lot of advice, especially on things involving school and involving getting jobs and internships, and they're really helpful to talk to. And last night, they always give a gift to the Eckerd College, to ECOS. Like in the past, it's been a ping pong table, and we were talking to them last night, and I feel like the cafeteria has a lot of rooms for improvement. There's like little things such as having metal silverware always available, and you can have the option of taking plastic silverware if you want something back to your dorm. But I feel like there should always be the option, if you want to have a metal fork, it should be there, or if you want to have a plastic cup, it'll be the next day. So I think it's little things like that, that really make a difference.
Definitely. All right. Any more questions? Any questions at all?
Any curveball questions? Come on, I want something hard. Okay.
Just thumbs up.
By the way, feel free to reach me on Facebook or my email right now if you have any questions. I would love to get started immediately on anything you guys want to do. Okay. Thank you.
All right. All right. And lastly, we will have the candidates for presidents come up, please. Yeah, good. Stand. you want, whatever. Okay. All right, so why don't we start off with introducing ourselves and our platforms and all that good stuff.
Hi guys, I'm sorry about that earlier. I was a bit low in the volume, but as Theodore Roosevelt said, speak softly and walk with a big stick. Anyway, I'm running for president, and my main platform here is I want to be an environmental candidate. I've worked in the garden for the past year, and I found that it should be more than a club. It should be more like an institution, such as the newspaper. So what I want to try to do is expand that and possibly expand to other gardens, like other gardens around campus. And also, I want to be a transparent candidate. So I want to hold weekly addresses that will not only inform students, but also keep the ECOS student council in check. Really, I just want to help. I really want to be the vox populi, the voice of the people, and I really want to help all of you. So please consider my vote.
All right, can all you hear me? Good? Awesome. So like I said earlier, my name is Brady O'Donnell, running for president. Fortunately, I've been lucky enough to be a part of 2 executive councils under President Stephen Barber, wonderful president, and this year under Remy Brzezin. So I feel like I've got a lot of experience, understanding the organization of the executive council, as well as everything else, and all the different parts of ECOS in general. It's a very large organization, so it takes a lot of work to run it. One of the things I really want to do this year is I really, like everybody who's saying up here, is stay transparent. It's very easy for people to feel like they don't have a voice, but on Eckerd we're fortunate enough where all you have to do is you can come. We've got an open door policy. Come talk to any one of the executive council members. You can shoot any of us an email, and I want to start sending out monthly emails and surveys to get the student voice to hear what they want on campus, as well as a couple other projects I'll talk about later.
Well, my first question is for Brady, and you say you want to send out monthly emails and surveys, and an unfortunate fact is that most Eckerd students delete their emails or don't even read them at all. So how would you combat that?
Well, hopefully, if I was president, I would have when I at least read my email and I see an email from the president, and when I was a freshman, I would see the priority and I'd hopefully open it, because that president is supposed to represent the students. Also, a student here at Eckerd College, a senior, Tyler Lane, he gave me the idea of holding open forum tables in the cafeteria. Just sitting, I don't know if you guys went to the forum today, but just sit out in front and talk to people. I want to be a face that everybody feels friendly or confident talking to. So if they don't respond to emails, I'll reach out to them.
All right. Matt, how would you respond to that question?
Okay. As I said, I want to hold weekly addresses. So the way I want to accomplish that is either through an email or possibly through using social media. So I might send it out as a tweet to all students or whoever is signed up to the ECOS page. And also, I want to try to see if we could do like Google Plus Hangouts. So we could possibly do like Q&A sessions, and we can also do stuff in person also. I like the idea of the cafeteria open forum.
All right, so what personal project do you want to implement next year?
Okay, so as I said, I'm an environmental candidate, so I'd like to expand the garden. I'd want to make it more as a selling point at Eckerd. I've volunteered at the garden for the past year, and I've found that while it's a good start, it needs improvement. There's other smaller gardens around campus, and they're a bit lacking as well. So I hope to expand those and possibly add some more, because I feel like with Eckerd being a very eco-friendly campus, we should have gardens and other environmentally friendly projects going on all the time. I'd like to do other projects besides gardens as well.
I think it's also awesome that he wants to do environmental projects. As some of you may know, I'm the recycling manager under Evan Bollier, Office of Sustainability. So Evan and I, we constantly work on little projects, and so whether or not I'm president, I'm going to continue to do those projects, and with president, I'll at least have a budget to fund those environmental projects. But my main goal this year, which hopefully you guys can all relate to because you're all sitting here in the pub, I've already been talking with Cafe Bon Appetit, and I want to open the pub at 12 o'clock on the weekends instead of 2 p.m. That way we can get lunch instead of brunch all day.
Okay, does anyone have any questions? Yes.
How to live one legacy behind it after looking back like 5 years from now, what would it be?
So the question was, if you had to leave one legacy, looking back at Eckerd 5 years from now, what would it be?
I want our school to be known as environmental campus. Really, I don't mean to repeat myself, but I really am strong in this point that we need to be an environmental campus. We need to have environmental projects going all the time, and yeah, I just really want all those projects going on at the same time.
If I could personally leave a legacy, the idealized legacy for me would be that I care. For those of you that know me personally, very compassionate dude. I like to help people out, and so that's why I feel like it'd be best for me to represent you, because I want to help you, and I want to leave a caring impression.
Awesome. Any other questions at the moment? No? Okay. So how do you plan on balancing ECOS classes and your social life?
Social life. If you would like, I can. You can go first.
I'm a very busy person. I'm involved in a lot of things. But for me personally, I find that the busier I am, the more organized I am, and the more I have time to manage other projects. So, you know, I want to make sure that ECOS is a priority. ECOS is going to be my #1 priority, and everything will fall behind. But you know, that doesn't mean that I'm not going to care about everything else. You know, I like to balance things, and time management I would think is one of my pros.
Obviously, my classes are important. I'd like to balance as much time as I can. I'd like to allocate as many hours as I can in the week to ECOS. I am currently running my own club, so it is always difficult to balance clubs, classes, and the ECOS. But I want to put as much emphasis on the ECOS candidacy as much. So, thank you.
Awesome. All right, we have a question from Aaron.
No, 2 questions.
2 questions.
My first question is, you mentioned that you were heading a club and wanted to be.
Yes.
I know that just constitutionally can't be both. Like, are you willing to sacrifice your commitment to the club?
Oh, definitely. Definitely. I'm going to try to hand it off to someone over the next year, or last part of the year. Yeah, I'm really more focused on the ECOS part of it.
My second question is regarding trustees. As president, you have a lot of interaction with the trustees on the team. I was wondering how you plan to convey student message to trustees and to the faculty and to the dean.
Okay, so if anyone didn't hear that, Erin asked a very good question. She asked, as president, how will you convey what the students want and what the president wants to the trustees of the school?
I think that's a great question, Erin. You know, I think it's important to make sure to get the students' voice across and just the personality of Eckerd College. We're a very unique campus, and we're very fortunate to be here. And I think the most important thing is that when you're presenting the trustees, you got to be quick, you got to be straight to the point, and you got to make sure that they understand where you're coming from and that you care about this campus as much as they do.
Obviously, we're a small campus, so it may seem like we have a small voice, but if I'm elected president, I'd like to expand our voice, make it a lot more projecting. Basically, that's what I want to do, is just expand.
All right, we have time for one more question.
There's been a lot of talk about transparency and how that's a fabulous thing to be, but sometimes there's a point where you can be too transparent and bad news will travel way too fast and you have to do damage control. How are you going to be able to manage it, maybe that want or that pleading for your transparency and be able to step back? How are you going to do that and still maintain this transparent, I don't know.
Well, I want to work with the PR people at ECOS, so I'll contact them and they'll see what they can do. But also, I can't tell the students everything. I'm going to tell them as much as I can, and I'll allow students to ask me questions as much as they want.
For me personally, fortunately, I've had the opportunity of, like I said, being on executive council for 2 years. And last year, for those of you who were here, we had an issue with the budget running through Senate. And, you know, that was a very stressful situation walking into this position. And then, for those of you who don't know, there was an issue recently about transparency. And so, you know, it's important to keep it together. And when it comes to me with transparency, like I said, I want to have an open door policy and I want to send out emails. And if people want to ask me about the budget, I'll be free to tell them, but I'm not just going to go sending out the budget to everyone. You know, lacrosse club doesn't need to see what rugby club is spending money on. You know, so there's limits and boundaries to everything. And fortunately, with the experience I have, I feel like I'm well suited to, you know, adjust to it. And one last thing, I know this is the last question, I just wanted to give a big round of applause to all the candidates who got up here and talked. I know it's very difficult to talk in front of a crowd, so let's give them all a big hand.
Okay. We will graciously take a couple more questions. All right, Henry.
One movie to watch for the rest of your life. What is it?
What movie would you watch for the rest of your life?
Batman!
Lion King.
Actually, The Dark Knight is my favorite movie.
Hell yeah!
Okay, one more question.
Dark Knight.
Here from Palmetto Productions. This year, the president has been really generous to Palmetto Productions and has been a very big supporter of campus activities in it. I was wondering how you guys be able to follow Palmetto and be more innovative with campus activities.
Okay, so the question was, how will the president help Palmetto and campus activities in general?
I would say that, you know, Palmetto is a big part of this campus. You know, they throw thousands of activities year-round, and, you know, that's the option for students who don't want to necessarily go out to the parties and drink, to have another alternative. So I think it's a very important part of this campus, and they throw a lot of awesome events as well. You know, spring ball is coming up, can't wait for that. So I think it's important to make sure that we have the event planning portion of campus, you know, well funded and a priority.
I like the idea of working with Palmetto because it gives students the opportunity to get out and active without committing to like a club or any other organization. So I want to also incorporate events with Palmetto and yes, expand events with Palmetto.
All right, so let's give it up for our president candidates. And just as one last refresher, can we have all the candidates running please come up and say what they're running for again, just so you remember. And as another reminder, go vote next week because you will get CPS credit. So who doesn't want a CPS event credit for voting?
And you should vote.
And if you're a senior, still vote. Whether or not you need CPS credits. Like I said earlier, my name is Brady O'Donnell, running for ECOS president. Vote for me.
Alright, I'm Erin Stringer. I'm the only girl running, so
That's a great reason.
yeah, that's a great reason. No. Yeah, I have a lot of experience in this position. I think I can bring a lot to it next year, and please vote for me. Oh, I'm running for Vice President of Academic Affairs. Thank you, Brenna.
Gender politics aside, I'm Henry Palmer. I'm a junior, political science communications major. I'm running for Vice President of Financial Affairs. I'm the right man for the job. I have the experience and I'm ready to go. Thanks.
Hi, I'm Henry Ashworth. I'm a freshman. I live in Alpha. I'm now an Alpha Senator. I'm a biochemistry major, and I can't wait to serve you guys all as Vice President. So.
I am Matt Wilson. I'm running for ECOS president. I am an environmental studies major, and I look forward to serving you.
Hello, I'm Alec Matheson. I'm a freshman political science math major. If you want dedicated, proven, passion, and action, vote Matheson. Thank you.
Hi, my name is James Barrison. I'm a freshman. I live in Gamma Freeman. I'm running for Vice President of Academic Affairs. And if you want your voices to be heard, go out there and vote for who you want to run.
And that's it. Thank you guys for coming. Thank you.